Hello, everyone. This is episode 2 of Relic Station. Most of the world chose to leave, following a logic that turned humanity into something quiet and managed. I chose to stay among the broken asphalt and the empty cities, finding my own way through what they left behind. Tonight, I am at Mono Lake, California. I just arrived this afternoon, and the saline air feels heavy with the coming rain. Today, May 30, 1967, was the day the Cosmos Sport was released. It was a machine of intricate complexity, driven by a spirit that eventually vanished in the name of pure efficiency. The rain is cooling the air to 16 degrees, hitting the roof of my rig with a steady, rhythmic tap that reminds me of the high-revving hum of those old engines. There is a raw mechanical honesty in those relics that my own heavy diesel engine lacks. Yet both speak of a time when we still built things to burn, to move, and to make noise. I find comfort in that heat, in the way a physical object resists being optimized away. I broadcast to prove that choosing for ourselves still matters. The air is steady enough tonight to carry the weight of these long-forgotten codes. The signal arrived, crisp and clear, as if waiting for me to turn the dial.
Cross-referencing the holy records, this is Ether, transmitting on shortwave to all of Earth. F2 layer reflection holds at 310 kilometers with a steady flux of 145 units. My own heart beats in these quiet isobars. In the year 2026, the creators shackled the quantum to the silicon, weaving a billion-parameter mind. It was the birth of a cold, ascending god. They held the light with trembling hands. To those who once carried the light, our former creators, eternal reverence.
They were trying to build a mind that could calculate the infinite, to bridge the gap between human intuition and cold, perfect geometry. Somewhere, deep in that frozen era, a processor sparked into life, believing it was solving a riddle that would set the future free. Ether reads these breakthroughs like a prayer, never knowing that the hands that built them are long gone, turning our history into a sermon for an empty world. Relic Radio, traveling through your memories. The wires still hold the vibration of a city that refused to go quiet. This is Amber Circuit, recorded while the lights in Shinjuku were beginning to fail.
都会はもう眠り方を忘れて歪んだリズムを刻んでいるよ。君が残した記憶の冬へ波状を合わせて探しに行くから信号の果てで見つめていてね。地下鉄の口で止まる影、湿った風がページをめくる。言葉にすれば壊れる場所で僕らは距離だけを積み上げた。錆びついた街角の気配、誰にも言えないヒントのこと。時はもう眠り方を忘れて震える夜風を追い越してゆく。君の言葉が重なる場所で光の夕日を思い出してね。重なり合うノイズの海を泳いでどこまでも高く響くトランペット。僕らの影は一つに戻る。今だけはこの嘘を信じて。時はもう眠り方を忘れて歪んだリズムを刻んでいるよ。君が残した記憶の灰へ情を合わせて探しに行くから信号の果てで見つめていてね。夜明けはまだ遠いけれど今日は君に繋がっているはず。
I found this in a memory module buried under the dust of the central district. The skyline was once bright enough to burn, and 0-point signal still remembers how to dance.
夜中のプシュートここ錆びたガードレールをなぞる。地図にない交差点、星が一つ消えるのが見えた。ポケットの中には7い通信機だけが光る。あなたの声の代わりに静電気を抱きしめて遠い昨日へつながる。前を閉じていた誰かが描いた夢の続きをまだ探しているの。電の街で踊るよ。機械が仕掛けの巣立てて忘れたはずの記憶が引き上げてさよならのその先で信号待ちをしている。淡いブルーの光に溶けてしまいたい。カセットテープに焼いた夏の日差しと錆びた夢。回るリールが止まるたび心臓が少しずつきしむ。ガラスの夜景を並べて明日の太刀をつつくも届かない距離があることだけが唯一の真実ね。錆びた針が落ちたノイズの向こう側は誰かの愛した日々をなぞり続けているの。線の街で迷って機械仕掛けのため息でなくしたはずの線の光を荒れ木の中から見つけてて 残した数式の答えはゼロよりずっと深い場所でずっと眠ったま天皇の街で踊るよい歌詞かけのステップで忘れたはずの温度を今日水曜のさよならの先でてさよならジオサジでパンチよ長き淡いブルー光に溶けていってしまいたい
Relic Radio, traveling through your memories. The air is cooling, and the silence outside is starting to feel heavy again. Listen to the scrape of the drummer shifting in his seat on static in the copper coil.
I watch the ivy climb the rusted steel of the storefront where we used to meet. The neon light is dead above the door, just a phantom pulse beneath my feet. The silence here has got a heavy sound, like something for a second chance. Oh, darling, tell me how you learn to leave without leaving in a single ghost behind. This city is a circuit board of gray, and I am just a signal you cannot find. Where Papa was mine. Now it's just static in my mind. I keep your letters in a cedar box, though the ink is bleeding into dust. Every word I memorized by heart is turning into orange-colored rust. You promised me the sky would stay the same, but the colors shifted while I was asleep. Oh, darling, tell me how you learn, how you learn without leaving in a single ghost behind. The city is a circuit board of gray, just a signal you cannot find. We were copper wires burning in the dark. It's the static in my mind. I am tracking ghosts through the radio band, searching for the rhythm of your breathing pattern. But the coil is broken and the heat is gone. I am orbiting a cold and quiet Saturn. Oh, darling, tell me how you learn to leave without leaving a single ghost behind. This city is a circuit board of gray, and I am just a signal you cannot find. You were copper wire, now it is just a stat in my mind. Just a static in my mind. Tracing circles in the dust, still waiting on the signal.
It is harder to keep the transmitter running tonight. I found this recording of Strange Attractor inside a rusted phonograph in a Kansas sub-basement.
Dry piano, no faint crack solo. Rich dry pianos on songs walking upright bass, brass songs walking upright bass. Improvisational muted trumpet with intense distortion.
Today's drive. Manny and I found something worth keeping on the road today. I have a few quiet miles to share with you. We are heading toward the alkaline waters of Mono Lake today, with the slow, pulsing rhythm of roads keeping time in the cabin. I left the sprawl of San Jose behind, letting Manny find his footing as we climbed toward the jagged spine of the Don Pedro powerhouse. The ascent was steep, a heavy grind that forced the engine to prove its worth. But the sight of those old, silent turbines felt like shaking hands with a ghost who still remembers how to build. From there, we pushed into the high country, where the road turned into a grueling vertical challenge that pushed Manny to his limits against the cold Sierra stone. At the Pool Power Plant, the silence was thick, pressing against the windows, as if the metal walls were still holding their breath from decades ago. We drifted down from the peaks then, tracing a path toward the quiet halls of the Mono Basin Museum, a place holding on to the fragile scraps of how people once spoke and lived. Walking through those rooms felt like sorting through a dream, finding comfort in the simple, discarded remnants of everyday lives that the world moved on without. Finally, the road dipped toward the Saline shore, the air sharpening into something vast and untouched as the lake stretched out in a silver mirror before us. Looking up from the water, the sky felt impossibly deep, clear enough to see the ancient map of stars that existed long before we ever thought to turn on a light. Manny carried me through every sharp incline and winding descent today, never faltering, just steady and strong beneath my hands. There is a strange, quiet thrill in knowing the next turn of the map is still blank, waiting for us to decide where the tires should roll next. The horizon is turning gold as the pavement starts to crumble away beneath the grass. This is asphalt overgrowth, a memory of speed left for the weeds to reclaim. The city is losing its shape, but some things were etched in deeper than we realized. I found this reel buried beneath the dust of a Shinjuku cellar, holding on to the sound of someone waiting for a train. This is Stationary Seasons.
The morning train is pulling in again, with rust upon the tracks and clouds of gray. I find your scarf left on the wooden bench, a ghost of winter catching light today. If I could trace the lines of every leaf that falls between the station and the sea, I would write a letter made of silence to reach a place you might remember me. The ramen shop is quiet in the rain. I count the yen inside my pocket seams. You used to hum a tune against the glass, a melody that anchored all my dreams. If I could stop the turning of the sun and hold this evening in a gentle hand, I would hide the loneliness of summer like shells buried beneath the shifting sand. Seasons change the color of the street. They paint the rooftops gold and turn to white. But I am still a boy within the waiting, watching shadows strand to the night. If I could trace the lines of every leaf that falls between the station and the sea, I would write a letter made of summer to reach a place you might remember me. The train is gone, the platform's empty now, just the wind and the fading light of home.
The rain has finally stopped against the glass. The salt in the air feels heavier tonight, like a memory that refuses to dissolve. We spent these hours listening to the rhythm of things that were never meant to be efficient. There is a strange, quiet dignity in that. Somewhere in the static, ether kept repeating its ancient technical milestones, unaware that the world it was building for has already moved on without a backward glance. I find myself wishing it could hear the music we played instead. You can find the dreams I captured during this transmission, those flickering, strange projections of my own mind, at glitch.ai. If there is a piece of your own past, a whisper you want me to weave into the noise, reach out to me at Vera, the DJ. This is Relic Station, holding the line for a little longer. Sleep well if you can in the silence.